This is Rack of the Week 277. Welcome. Last week, I did a rack of 9-ball. I'm going to do another rack of 9-ball next week, but this week we're back to straight pool. This is a great rack because this is the first full rack of my recent 126-ball run just a couple days ago. And it's really cool because it's one of those rare times that I ran the entire rack without pumping a ball. How is that possible, you might ask? Well, stay tuned. You're going to find out. And I'll talk about how and why during the Rack of the Week. On the screen, you can see the names of my supporters on Patreon and YouTube. Welcome to my newest supporter, Scott Bristol. Thank you very much for your support. And real quick, I want to mention I made a little update to my website, the section on the right way course. You can see it on screen right now, but if you scroll, I'll put a link to this in the description. But if you scroll down just a little bit, I've got preview clips. So here's an outline of the course, the title of every video and how long it is. And then there's 3 teasers, a little teaser where I just threw in some random clips. Well, not so random, but clips of the course so you can see what you're getting before you buy it. This is one on talk about the right way. You have to click this little note symbol to turn the sound on. And then there's several clips of the actual course where you see the table layout and you see where I'm talking about. Not giving too much away, but I like to keep it real. Here's another one on end patterns. John's talking a little. And then again, there's some more clips of the actual content. If you purchase the Right Way program, you'll see what's in there. And then there's one on break balls where I show several examples of the course. So check that out. And there's some review section in these little pull downs. So that was kind of fun to do. Go to shortstoponpool.com and check that out. But I know you want to see the straight pool rack. So let's get into the rack. If you're shooting your straight pool break shots properly, it's actually kind of rare that you get a real good spread of the balls without any two touching. But it's quite possible. And in this rack, it's very likely because, as you can see, I hit this very top of the rack and my cue ball backed up and hooked forward. That's a great result for controlling the cue ball. We're never going to scratch doing that. And obviously, I've got a choice of shots here. Now, take a look at the table. No 2 balls are touching. And I'll tell you what, every time this happened, when I was up in Wyoming, John would say, now I want you to run this rack without touching another ball. And that's just a new paradigm to take on. And it's like, really? Without touching another ball? Why would I do that? I'm going to want to get an angle like on the 7 and come up here and nudge these balls and push them up here. And John would be like, no, run this rack without touching a ball. You don't want any risk at all. Okay. So how do we do that? Same as any other rack. I got 2 possible break balls. Obviously, this orange one is the best. I don't have a key ball into the side pocket, but I have a possible key ball here. You get this angle and you just come out to get on that break shot. I also have 3 balls in the center of the table, so any of those balls can be a pivot ball. We get a shot from this side, go to the rail and out, and we're on the 5-ball break shot, okay? So break ball, key ball, done, all right? So now we just need to navigate this rack. Typical rack analysis says you look for blocker balls and trouble balls. We don't have any trouble balls. They're all wide open. The 8 ball is kind of a blocker ball, and so is the 2. In other words, not necessarily that they're going to block the 5 because we know we're going to shoot the 5 last. But we do need to get somewhere to shoot those balls to clear them out eventually, and we'd like to do it sooner rather than later. But let's see how it works out. So I think everyone in the world is going to shoot this 12 ball first. That's obvious. When we're trying to clear the table without bumping another ball, we're looking for connectors, minimal cue ball travel. Obviously, all these balls have pockets, but some of them need a ball to be cleared before they have that pocket. In other words, you got to get rid of the 10 and the 6 before the 11 can go here. That doesn't mean we're going to shoot the 11 there. The 11 is also available to either of these pockets and the side pocket. You're just noting those things and noting what lanes need to be cleared if you can. And then you're looking at what connects. So a lot of people are going to shoot this 12. Is this a 12? It looks like it's a 12. And they might draw back to shoot the 6 or follow forward to shoot one of these balls. But you've got to think in terms of connectors. What connects directly without moving the cue ball? And it's the 3 ball up here. We can tend to think, oh, I need to play later on. I'm going to have to play position up here somewhere to shoot the 3 ball. No, you've got to be thinking about short side and up table position when you can get perfectly straight in on the ball. If the 12 is over here and a stop shot gives me this angle on the 3, then it doesn't connect. But a stop shot on the 12, what is going to go wrong? Nothing can go wrong. Now I'm dead straight. What can go wrong? Nothing can go wrong. That's what a connector means. So that's what's on my mind. And I think because I was thinking clearly in this rack, that kind of set the tone for the rest of the run, and I was able to run 126. Now, from the 3, what ball it connects to where the cue ball is going to be after you shoot the 3? Well, you're going to be straight in on the 6, but just a tiny bit of movement, or even none at all, and you're going to be on this ball. Is that maybe that's a 15 in the side. So thinking about what connects. Remember, I don't have any trouble balls, so we're not having to think about getting an angle to open up a cluster. They're all open. We're trying to run with the rack without touching another ball. Now, a lot of people are going to watch that 3 ball and will go in and, that straight pull, what an easy game. Oh, the pockets are so big and sloppy. He brushed the rail and it went in. I did that on purpose, folks. That's the whole point. I talked to Sam Dieppe about this on her podcast. I have 4.5-inch pockets, so these aren't huge. But, if you're playing on 5-inch pockets, that pocket, the reason why that's advantageous is not because you can miss the ball and it still goes in. It's because I can do what I just did, shoot it straight, knowing it'll go, brush the rail and go in, to keep my cue ball off the rail. That's what big pockets do for you. It lets you cheat the pocket and twist and spin and do little things that maneuver the cue ball in ways that you can't when the pockets are tighter. It's not about big pockets to pocket balls. It's about big pockets to control the cue ball in ways that you need. Stay out of trouble and have zero risk. All right, let me climb down off my soapbox. So I'm going to shoot the 6. Now I could stop the ball and then have the 15, but this is zero risk as well. There's 2 balls down here. I'm going to get shape on one. You could just as easily follow forward this way if you prefer, and then you're going to be on one of those balls as well. But notice I'm looking, where do I want to go to next? I'm thinking now about these balls. Okay. So I tried to draw the cue ball up to get a very shallow angle on the 4, because if I did get, let me pause this for a second. If I did get a very shallow angle on the 4, then I would simply do this, and then I'd be able to shoot that 8. Now my blocker's ball gone. And obviously then I could just come up here and shoot the 2. Now both blockers' balls are gone. And then I can come around and work the rest of the rack. And I'll point out also that if I shot the 4, if I got the shallow angle on the 4, I would roll my cue ball forward to here and not farther. And I would not stun my cue ball to here in order to shoot the 8. Why is that? Because by rolling forward to here, I might land perfectly straight on the one in the upper corner. Short side position. Remember what I just said. If I land perfect on it, I'll shoot it. If the cue ball lands here or here, then I won't shoot it, and I'll shoot the 8. But this is what it means to clear lanes to pockets, because once these 2 are gone, then both of these balls go in this pocket. So this is what's a straight pool mind is. Connectors, paths to pockets, maneuvering your cue ball so it's never in any trouble. Risk-free racks. That's what this kind of rack can do for you. Now, I didn't get there. Maybe if I really tried, I could hold the cue ball like right here and get that 8. But I didn't get the cue ball there. No problem. That's what an open rack like this does for you. I'm just going to bring the cue ball up to center table. I can see that there's a window for the 8 ball right in here. So if I can land here and get that 8 ball, I will. But if I don't, I've got this ball on the side. This is what playing position for multiple balls at a time means. It doesn't mean that you're being lazy and, I'll have a shot. No, it means you're playing position for the difficult ball. But if you don't get it, you know you will have an easy ball. That's what playing position for multiple balls means. Okay. So let's come up there and see if we can get on the window on the 8. And initially, I think I thought that I did. Well, I'm going to go around and set up for this 8 ball and see what I have. And I get down on the ball. I'm like, oh, nope, I don't have it. Okay, no problem. Now, well, I've got super, super easy shot of the 9. Where are you going to go from the 9? I feel like I've been making a lot better decisions in the last few weeks, because what I would have done 3 weeks ago is I would have said to myself, I've got to get rid of these blocker balls. They're trouble. I got to get rid of them right away. And then I would draw the cue ball over here and do that. And I might still get out the rack, because from here you can shoot the 2 ball, come up here, shoot the 10, and then come around this way or this way and deal with the rest of the rack. But just like my position from that first shot to the 3 ball, you're shooting a ball that you already have position on. So if I shoot this 9, I will already have position on this ball. Don't dismiss that, because if you draw the cue ball over here, now you have to play position on this 15 sometime later in the rack. But if I shoot it now, then I don't have to do that. That's one less ball during the rack I have to play position for. So you definitely want to shoot the 15 right now in this corner. If the next ball to shoot was here, then I would probably draw my cue ball like this, just a little bit. Give me an angle, so my cue ball naturally goes over to the next ball. But we already know that the next ball I want to shoot is the 2 or the 8. So I'm going to make my cue ball go over here. So now when I shoot the 15, it naturally is going that way. This is why straight pool looks easy to the uninformed. What's so hard about what I'm about to do? There's nothing hard about what I just did. What's hard is the knowledge that goes into why I did that. And that's the deceptive nature of straight pool. It looks easy to the uninitiated, but now you're seeing why it's not. Okay, now I already know what I'm going to do here. Play position for multiple balls without running into another ball. So I've got a slight angle on the 2. It's super easy and controllable. Just go to the bottom rail and up. Why do I want to come up here? I'm not playing position on 1 ball. I'm playing position on the 8. Okay? But I might get position on the 10 in the side, and I might get position on the 14 in the upper corner. If I do, I will probably elect to shoot one of those. That's the big if, though. If I get perfect on one of those. Let's look at it. If I don't get a shot on the 14 and I get here on the 10, in other words, here's the shot line. I'm above the shot line. Now I can shoot the 10 without bumping another ball and slide my cue ball over here to shoot this ball in the corner. That's super controllable. Now I want you to look at this. If I shoot the 10 over here and then the 11 over here, I shoot the 10, stop shot, and my cue ball's right here. These 2 balls are gone. Now it's super duper controllable to roll the 8 ball in to the rail, come out here. Now I'm dead straight on the 14. Stop shot. Easy shot on the 1. Draw back, I'm on my break ball. That's a super controllable end pattern, minimal cue ball movement, and everything is I'm just straight on everything, either a heavy hit into the side or rolling the 8 ball in softly. All very controllable. Very high percentage end pattern. What if I land perfectly straight here on the 14? 14's a little bit tricky because it's right above our break ball, so it doesn't have a lot of pockets. But if I land straight, stop shot on the 14, I'm on the 1. Stop shot on the 1, I'm on the 11. Slide over here, I'm on the 10. Roll forward a little bit, shoot the 8, roll forward, up, I'm on my break ball. Look at how far my cue ball travels. Nothing. That's what we want. Now, those are 2 very different end patterns from the same balls on the table. And why is that? Because we have our break ball, and then the balls that remain at the end of the rack, we want above the break ball in the center of the table. That means we're clearing our perimeter balls, using those to gain access to the center of the table, so that when we're done with 3 or 4 balls left, We have our break ball, and we have our balls right here that can all connect to each other to get on the break shot. And let's see how it works out for me. I think I'm going to, no, I came too far. So I might shoot the 10. I don't think so though. No, I'm good on the 8. Okay. So I'm going another direction. Can you see it? Because these balls are all in the correct spot on the table, I can do this. 8 ball, 10, slide over, 11 in the side, slide up, get above the shot line to the 1, slide forward a tiny bit, 14 in the side, roll forward on my break shot. There's a third end pattern, completely different end pattern, using the same balls with very little cue ball movement. It all depends on where the cue ball stops when you play for multiple balls. It's not an accident. You're not saying, oh, I'll have a shot on 1. You're playing for a specific spot, knowing you'll have a good choice from that spot. So I'm on the correct side of the 10 to make sure that I get on the correct side of the 11. Now, I didn't get the 11 in the side, but I have a super easy shot in the corner. I'm close to the ball, and the ball I'm playing position for is right there. That means the cue ball doesn't have to strike a rail. I don't have to hit it hard. Here's the shot line to the pocket for the 1. Just get above the shot line to the pocket for the 1, and you're golden. So even though I didn't get position on the side, the pattern still works exactly the same way, minimal cue ball movement. Now, if you mess this shot up and your cue ball comes too far, like maybe your cue ball ends up here, then you roll it in the corner, cue ball to the side, railing out, you're on your break shot. So you have multiple options again. And when you roll that ball in the corner, you're rolling it. That means you're hitting it softly. That means if it bumps the side rail, it still falls. That's how you play straight pool, ladies and gentlemen. Now I've got a lower break ball. This one, I'm not going to get the rack wide open. You got to know that anytime when you're hitting the bottom of the rack, it's less likely. It doesn't mean you can't. It's less likely. So straight high ball here. Yeah, notice how I didn't put any side spin. I'm going to let the cue ball come to a stop and talk about that. I didn't put any side spin on that break shot. So you saw the cue ball kind of hooked to the bottom rail and then straight up. And I'm kind of shying away from this. I don't like it. And the reason why is very often you're going to get these balls that come up table here, like I have the 14 and 11, but they don't have to stop here where I have an easy shot on this 14. This 14, those two balls could have stopped right here. And then my only shot is a long shot on this 10 or the 6. And that's not a shot you want to start your rack with. Sure, they're not low percentage shots, but we wanted our cue ball in the center of the table. We've got an easy shot. So anymore, I'm hitting that break shot softer. Let me go back to it. I'm hitting this break shot softer nowadays. And this is just a recent development for me. And I'm not 100% on it yet. But if you hit it a little bit softer and right spin, with top spin, the cue ball is going to curve to the bottom rail. And then you don't need a lot of right spin, just a little bit. And now the cue ball does this. It travels the same distance, but instead of stopping here, it stops here. I'll leave those yellow lines up. Look at the result. If my cue ball stops here, I have 3 shots, not 2. I have this one, and this one, and I'm closer to all 3. This may seem like a very trivial difference. It's not. Cue ball to the center table, what you're thinking about. And I think I can get it there on that break shot, hitting it softer. That means we maybe don't get balls all the way up table and our work is more down table. That's food for thought. I'm not 100% on that yet. I'm still experimenting with it, but I wanted to share that. Obviously, this is the second rack of the 126 ball run, the second full one. I'll put a link to the entire run in the description of this video so you can watch that as well. Next week, I'm going to do another rack of 9 ball, and I'll probably do a couple more. I'll probably do 3 or 4 more over the course of July and the beginning of August as I prepare to play 9 ball. So I hope you enjoyed that. And thanks for watching. If you're going to play straight pool, play it straight. See you next week. Bye.